Have you ever realized that bell pepper plants are actually capable of living much longer than we usually allow? Most gardeners treat peppers as short-term annual crops. They plant them, harvest a handful of fruits, and then remove them once the season is over. But what if instead you could grow bell peppers that keep producing again and again without constantly digging, tilling, or draining the soil of nutrients? Today, I'm going to share 7 powerful principles for growing what can feel like endless bell pepper harvests. Techniques rooted in no-dig gardening, soil ecology, and the natural growth patterns of pepper plants. These aren't tricks or shortcuts. They're simple shifts in approach that can turn a single plant into a long-term, highly productive source of food. Everything is presented in a continuous format, or with only numbered sections. 1. Build living soil, not lifeless dirt. The foundation of truly infinite bell pepper production doesn't start with seeds, fertilizers, or even sunlight. It starts underground, within a living soil ecosystem. In natural environments, pepper plants don't grow in bare, depleted soil that is constantly disturbed. Instead, they thrive in rich, layered ground filled with decomposing plant material, organic debris, fungi, bacteria, insects, and ongoing biological activity. This hidden system is what supports long-lasting, productive plants. No-dig gardening is effective because it protects this delicate but essential network. Each time soil is dug or tilled, fungal networks are broken, microbial communities are disrupted, and nutrients are released too quickly instead of gradually. While peppers may grow rapidly at first in disturbed soil, they tend to decline sooner. In contrast, no-dig systems build fertility slowly from the surface downward, much like a natural forest floor. By adding layers of compost, leaf mold, aged manure, grass clippings, straw, or worm castings on top of the soil, you create a continuous nutrient reserve. Earthworms and microorganisms naturally pull these materials into the soil over time, converting them into nutrients that plants can use. This slow, steady feeding prevents the sharp nutrient spikes and crashes that often cause pepper plants to stop producing early. When soil biology is thriving, pepper roots form beneficial relationships with fungi and bacteria. These microbes effectively extend the plant's root system, allowing it to access phosphorus, calcium, trace elements, and water from a much larger area. As a result, plants develop stronger root systems, experience less stress, and recover more quickly after harvesting. This is why peppers grown in living soil continue producing instead of declining after one harvest cycle. They keep developing new growth, branching out, and flowering because the soil remains active and full of energy. With a healthy soil ecosystem, a pepper plant can live 2, 3, or even 4 times longer than one grown in depleted, disturbed soil. Living soil supports continuous growth. Dead soil leads to short-lived plants. If you want ongoing harvests, your soil must be alive. 2. Select varieties that naturally grow longer. Not all bell pepper varieties are suited for long-term production. Many modern varieties sold commercially are bred for large-scale agriculture, where plants are expected to grow quickly, produce a single heavy crop, and then be removed. These types often prioritize uniformity, fast ripening, and short production cycles rather than longevity. If your goal is continuous harvests, choosing the right genetics is essential. You need varieties that naturally keep growing, branching, and producing flowers instead of reaching a fixed endpoint. Thick-walled, indeterminate-style bell peppers are particularly well suited for this. These plants don't follow a rigid timeline. They continue producing as long as conditions remain favorable and stress is minimized. Heirloom and open-pollinated varieties often perform better in this regard than modern hybrids. Because they were not bred solely for commercial efficiency, many heirloom types maintain strong root systems, flexible growth habits, and better resilience to environmental stress. They are especially compatible with no-dig systems, where nutrients are released gradually and soil life remains undisturbed. In warm climates, these peppers can behave almost like short-lived perennials. With proper care and protection from extreme cold, they can produce continuously for many months, sometimes even for multiple years. In cooler climates, these same varieties can be overwintered indoors or in protected environments, then brought back into active growth for another productive season. Plants bred for endurance also respond differently to harvesting and pruning. Instead of slowing down after fruit is removed, they often become more vigorous. They produce new branches, set additional flowers, and continue directing energy into growth because their genetics support ongoing productivity. A continuous harvest starts with the plant that has the natural capacity to keep producing, and that potential is determined long before the first fruit appears. 3. Don't remove the plant. Help it recover and continue. One of the main reasons gardeners fail to achieve long-term pepper harvests is surprisingly simple. They stop believing in the plant too soon. When bell peppers slow down or temporarily stop producing, many assume the plant has reached the end of its life cycle and remove it. In reality, most pepper plants are not finished. They are simply worn out from heavy production. Pepper plants are not naturally single-cycle producers. They grow and fruit in repeating phases. After producing a large number of fruits, the plant directs a significant amount of energy into ripening them. During this time, new growth slows, flowers may fall off, and the plant can appear tired or inactive. This is not a failure, it is a normal biological process. Instead of removing the plant, the goal should be to help it regenerate. Begin by harvesting ripe peppers regularly to reduce the energy demand. Then allow the plant to recover. Light pruning plays a key role here. Remove weak or thin stems, damaged leaves, and overcrowded growth. Open up the center of the plant so that light and air can reach inner growth points. This encourages the plant to redirect its energy into producing new shoots and flowers. In a no-dig system, this recovery process happens much more efficiently because the root system remains undisturbed. The roots are already well developed, nourished, and connected to beneficial fungal networks in the soil. When the top growth is pruned, these established roots immediately support strong regrowth above ground. Many gardeners are surprised to see that a pepper plant's second or third production cycle can be even more productive than the first. In warm climates, this cycle can repeat several times within a single growing season. In regions with mild winters, pepper plants can even act like short-lived perennials, continuing to produce for extended periods if protected from cold. The key idea is simple. Don't replace the plant, restore it. A developed root system is valuable. Once it is removed, you are forced to start over from the beginning. 4. Feed the soil surface, not the roots directly. One of the most important concepts in no-dig gardening is understanding what you are actually feeding. Traditional gardening focuses on delivering nutrients directly to the plant through fertilizers added to the soil. No-dig gardening takes a completely different approach. You feed the soil ecosystem, and the soil ecosystem feeds the plant. In nature, plants are not fertilized from below. Nutrients are delivered from above through falling leaves, decomposing plant material, animal waste, and organic debris. This material remains on the surface where it is gradually broken down by fungi, bacteria, insects, and earthworms. This natural cycle is what allows forests to remain fertile for centuries without any digging or artificial inputs. To apply this method to bell peppers, regularly add organic matter to the surface of the soil around the plant. Every 2 to 4 weeks, apply a thin layer of compost, shredded leaves, grass clippings, straw, or finely chopped kitchen scraps. Do not mix it into the soil or disturb the ground. Simply place it on top and allow natural processes to take over. As this organic material decomposes, fungi transport nutrients directly to the plant's roots through underground networks. Bacteria break down the material into forms that plants can absorb gradually. Earthworms incorporate nutrients deeper into the soil, while improving its structure and moisture retention. This creates a steady, consistent supply of nutrients, rather than sudden bursts followed by depletion. This continuous feeding is essential for sustained pepper production. One of the main reasons peppers stop producing mid-season is nutrient exhaustion. Fast-acting fertilizers can cause rapid growth but often lead to burnout. No-dig top feeding avoids this entirely. The plant is never shocked or deprived. It receives steady, balanced support. Over time, this method improves soil quality instead of degrading it. Each layer of organic material increases water retention, enhances microbial life, and strengthens root health. The result is pepper plants that don't just survive, and they continue growing, flowering, and producing far beyond typical expectations. A soil that is constantly nourished creates plants that never shut down. 5. Manage stress, not just watering. When bell peppers stop producing, the issue is rarely age, it's stress. Pepper plants are naturally capable of living and producing much longer than most gardeners expect, but only when their environment remains stable. Stress signals the plant to prioritize survival over reproduction, causing fruit production to slow or stop. Temperature stress is one of the most common hidden problems. Peppers are sensitive to extremes. Excessive heat can damage roots while cold soil can shock them. This is why mulch is so important in a no-dig system. A thick, consistent layer of mulch, such as straw, shredded leaves, wood chips, or grass clippings, acts as insulation. It keeps the soil cooler during hot weather and warmer during cooler periods, creating a stable environment where roots can function properly. Watering habits also play a critical role. Peppers do not benefit from frequent, shallow watering. This encourages weak surface roots that dry out quickly and are more vulnerable to stress. Instead, watering should be deep and gradual, allowing moisture to penetrate well below the surface. Afterward, the soil should be allowed to partially dry before watering again. This encourages deeper root growth, giving the plant access to more nutrients and improving its resilience during dry conditions. The weight of the fruit itself can also create stress. When a pepper plant is covered with mature fruits, it interprets this as completing its reproductive cycle. As a result, growth slows down. Harvesting peppers regularly, especially when they are still green or just beginning to change color, keeps the plant in an active production phase rather than allowing it to shift into dormancy. The more stable and stress-free the environment, the longer the plant will continue producing. By reducing stress factors, pepper plants behave less like short-lived annuals and more like plants capable of extended productivity. 6. Prune to extend life, not just shape. Pruning pepper plants isn't about forcing them into a neat, compact form. It's about keeping them vigorous and youthful. Gardeners often fall into one of two extremes. Either they prune too aggressively, treating peppers like tomatoes and weakening the plant, or they avoid pruning altogether, allowing old, unproductive growth to accumulate and drain energy. The key to long-term productivity lies somewhere in between. As pepper plants age, older leaves gradually lose efficiency. They begin to block light from reaching new growth, reduce airflow, and create conditions that encourage disease. By removing yellowing leaves, damaged foliage, and weak inner stems, you allow more light to reach the center of the plant and improve air circulation. This helps prevent fungal issues and reduces pest pressure, two of the most common factors that limit long-term productivity. Thoughtful pruning also helps redirect the plant's energy. When you remove older, less productive branches, the plant shifts its resources toward new shoots and fresh flowering points. In a no-dig system, this effect is even more pronounced because the strong, undisturbed root system is ready to support rapid regrowth above the soil. It's important not to overdo it. Instead of heavy, one-time pruning, make small, regular cuts. Think of pruning as a process of renewal rather than restriction. You're not trying to make the plant smaller. You're helping it stay active and productive. A pepper plant that is gently and consistently pruned will continue producing far longer than one that is left unmanaged and allowed to age without intervention. 7. Care for the roots and the plant will reward you. The final principle behind infinite bell pepper production comes down to one simple truth. The roots hold the memory of the plant's strength. Whenever soil is dug, compacted, or disturbed, the root system loses efficiency. No-dig gardening avoids this problem entirely. Over time, pepper plants develop extensive underground networks that store energy, regulate nutrient uptake, and help the plant withstand stress. This hidden structure is what allows peppers to recover, regrow, and continue producing again and again. It's important to avoid compacting the soil around your plants. Try not to step near their base. Allow natural soil life, worms, fungi, and microorganisms to do the work for you. Their activity creates channels that improve drainage, airflow, and nutrient movement far more effectively than mechanical tools ever could. As the seasons change, resist the urge to remove plants unless they are completely dead. Even when above-ground growth slows or appears inactive, the roots are often still alive and capable of producing new shoots when conditions improve. In warmer climates, pepper plants can live and produce for several years. In cooler regions, they can be overwintered indoors or protected with heavy mulch and brought back to life in spring. When roots are preserved and protected, peppers no longer behave like short-term crops. No, instead, they become regenerative systems, cycling through periods of growth, rest, recovery, and renewed production. Endless pepper harvests are not a myth. They are the natural outcome of healthy, living soil, thoughtful care, and allowing plants to grow according to their natural design.